Welcome to Savvy Sense. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Emily.
And welcome to our budgeting series where we are giving you tips and tools to help you overcome those budgeting hurdles that you might encounter in your everyday life. This is the second video in this series, so don't forget to go ahead and check out the first video where we talk about how to stay motivated to budget. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get going in today's video. Today we are going to be talking about how to make time to look at your budget and how to kind of carve some time out in your day to make that a priority for you. We're going to be giving you tips and tools to hopefully help you get out of that rut. So let's get going. Emily, has this been an issue for you?
Never. ever. Of course, it's always I think it's always a struggle to find time to budget and make it a priority. So it's definitely relevant for all of us.
Yes.
How about you? Is it hard to find time too?
I have such a hard time. I feel like in the past what I've done is sort of let it mount, and then it sort of felt like, ooh, this is something I don't even want to look at, so it's just so much easier to just act like it doesn't exist.
So we want to all avoid that.
Yes,
right?
Let's avoid that. So we are going to give you some tips to help you avoid that. And the first tip is to look at your budget weekly. And I have found that looking at it weekly really helps to keep me on track when it's more of a digestible amount of numbers and information. It's easier for me, and I don't get as discouraged as if I leave it for too long, and then it just becomes so overwhelming and daunting that I just sort of leave it, and I keep letting it fall to the bottom of my priority list and my to-do pile, and it becomes kind of like if I don't see it, it doesn't exist type of situation. What about you?
Yeah, I think looking at it weekly is a must in order to avoid what you were talking about. I know for me, I also with doing it weekly, I have to make sure that I do it in the morning or around lunchtime because my mind is so much more fresh at that time.
Yes, that's such a good tip.
I'm quicker with seeing what I've spent and how much I have left versus at night I'm just tired. I don't want to deal with that. I just want to watch TV or just want to relax.
Same.
And so along with doing it weekly, I think it's important you find a time of day during the week that really makes it when you're the most effective at it as well. So
yes, I love that. The second tip is to go ahead and schedule looking at your budget kind of like you would a meeting. So putting it into your weekly routine. How do you fit it into your schedule?
Well, that's a great question. I guess I'm not great at finding a set time every week. I feel with little ones, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, and so the schedule can when I sit down to do something, it's always likely that they need something at that minute. And so for me, I have to be a little bit more flexible, but I will say that when I grocery shop or go to the store 1 or 2 or 3 times in a row, that is my cue to look at my budget and sit down and make sure I get those transactions in there and know how much I have left. So it's kind of like knowing when I need to sit down and look at my budget is my weekly meeting, but I think it's a great idea. I mean, how do you do it?
So what I do is every Sunday I sit down and look at the upcoming week, and I try to figure out what we have going on that week. And I have found that typically Thursdays for me are the day that I don't have as much going on, and so I don't have a strict time, but I put that in my budget, in my planner, to make sure I am sitting down and looking at my budget that day, and that is my meeting with my future self. My future self is going to thank me for that meeting.
Yes.
And even if I don't feel motivated, I kind of hold myself accountable for that because I know that it's so important, because I have fallen into the habit of letting it go, and then I just become too discouraged. So that's what has worked for me in my life.
That's awesome.
So the final tip is to find the right budget tracking system that works for you. And this might take a ton of trial and error, but if you find yourself at the computer a lot, maybe Excel is a good fit for you. If you have your phone with you a lot, maybe, or if you're techie, maybe an app would be a great fit for you. I know a lot of people, I actually really like handwriting stuff down. Maybe that works for you. So maybe like a budget binder would be a great fit for you. So you kind of have to figure out what works for you. And once you find that, you hit kind of like a groove. For me personally, I love Excel, as you know, and I know
Yes.
you have a deep love for that as well. And so our Excel budget has worked really great for us, and that's something that we have been able to keep up for the last couple of years. And so for us, that is what works. But I know that you have recently switched from one system to Mint, and so would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, briefly, I was kind of I have an Excel spreadsheet, but I don't really track our expenses on it. And so I would do everything manually. And in the interest of time, which is what this whole video is about, is I really wanted to save more time.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew about Mint. I knew what it was about. I knew what it did, but it's hard to make a change.
Yes.
And when you're used to doing something for so long,
Yeah.
it's just like really tricky to kind of make that step,
I
right?
agree.
So we decided to make that step as a family, and it's definitely just saved me so much time. Everything is pre-categorized for you. All I need to do is just like double check that it's categorized correctly.
Nice.
And I can see immediately what my balances are and everything, and it's just great for like an overall picture. But anyways, it's just saved our family a lot of time.
Yeah.
It saved me a lot of time because I'm the one who does our budget.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's just invaluable.
Absolutely.
And it helps me to be able to focus on, other things in my life and still be on top of my budget. So,
Totally. And that's what it's all about, right?
yeah, definitely.
We hope these suggestions to help you overcome these hurdles have been super helpful for you. And I hope at least one of them has struck a chord with you and you find some inspiration and you're able to work that into your budget and your daily routine as well.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and please comment below with any suggestions or things that have worked for you on how you make time to budget.
And don't forget to go ahead and check out the rest of our series. This is the second video, so go back and watch the first video and watch the third video that's coming up in this 4-part series, and we can't wait to see you in the next one. Emily has a spin. I'll cut out that.
Yeah,
Let's get
sorry.
going.